What's up, everybody? It's Chase here. I wanted to reach out to you and say hello about this whole Russia issue, right? United States and Russia. You know, I spoke with the Secret Service today, and I went ahead and conveyed, again, same story that I repeat, the same story I've repeated since 2018, and still haven't got anything, but hopefully will. And for those of you who have been following along, the whole tensions with Russia started the day that, I said I contacted the ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and conveyed, a number of different stories and a number of different offenses that I found very, very intrusive on my establishment clause, right? My connection with God, my oneness with God. And they didn't respond, but in the message, I said that, there's already Russia who's willing to, strike the United States in order to prevent an existential crisis. The UK is teetering on the line. Maybe they're not. I didn't clarify for sure. I said, but there are a number of other, foreign and nuclear-equipped nations that we're standing by and watching and observing. I received a security request, a security guarantee from one of them, which, I'll do because it expedites things, but it needs to be with precision. And I would much rather, I don't know that I can provide a security guarantee if you know what's going on and aren't saying anything except for the fact that in the Islamic nations, just like the history of Ishmael and Abraham having to offer up as a sacrifice Isaac and the descendants of Isaac, which are Israel, and in today's game it's 3/4 of them. That's the only consideration that I could see, having to remain secret on. So in that regard, if that's the case and it's justified, then yeah, I would offer that security guarantee. However, I see Putin's case and I say, man, you find somebody to take care of the paperwork for me? Let's take it to the European Court of Human Rights, get everything done, take physical possession of the United States, and that could obviously be afforded by troops that are already, prepared to, execute this order throughout every branch of the military, and the United States military, that is, even Fort Knox. So, my issue is with them, they've been of this church and that religious sect that has been very deceptive towards me. This deception has caused me to lose a lot of trust and, quite frankly, to hold them accountable and justify the judgment, right? Because Mashiach, it's always understood, Mashiach comes to execute justice and gains power with great treachery. So, if you were in a church where their leader even gave you all of the power and all the title of the name, spoke very highly of you and his prophecies about you, and every other religion in the world did too, but then they wanted to organize a coup because they didn't like my behavior, how would you feel if you were me, going through enough torture where half of your balls went gone, missing for a while? They're restored, thank God. But it's obviously very painful. So, that story goes on. How would you feel? You'd be pretty pissed. Nobody's had my back. A couple people in Israel, one person, well, a few people in Russia. How would you feel? Given, you have to consider my brain versus a president is dealing with, Trump, number one, which is just insane, bizane. I want to say bizane, like bizarre, insane. Bizane psychopath. We can, coin that today. Who's, effectively the president under the same administration where these companies, Machine Halo and Signal Garden Research Company, Mindus Labs, and all these other things were, spawned and took their claim to status and title. Now, why? Why? Their claim to fame there has to do with, exploiting sensory perception technologies while I was illegally detained for, that long period of time. A lot of you know that I was in jail for. And trying to study, my connection with God using, random number generators to try to identify a quantum pattern. And wow, it was just honestly just shit. Really just fucking shit. It pushed me and pushed me and pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. And just continued to push me that you have to draw a line sometime. So the day that I drew the line, I was talking to NASA and I said all this shit and said that, fine, fuck it. We'll have another Big Bang. We'll have the universe equalize on itself. And lo and behold, that same couple days later, NASA came back and said that, I'm sorry, not NASA, but a research article came out. Obviously something that was very well developed. So the timing is the same, right? But it shows the presence of eternity, the throne of eternity, right? Going back to the beginning, something starting whenever, but manifesting in our world on the press or something of that nature on publication, right in sync. Just like the Morning Star did. And it was seen orbiting the furthest star in our galaxy or in our universe that has ever been observed, nearest the origins of the universe, is Ernendale, noted as being the morning star, which from Isaiah 11 or 14, the son of the dawn, right? Which is the name of Lucifer, supposedly, right? Let's not get into other names and all that bullshit. Anyways, so that it was orbiting it was a binary star system, orbiting another star. It was very bright, but it was orbiting another star, and guarding it or something. And that's something that really struck a note because a lot of people tried comparing me to this beast type character, which is entirely fine. I'll own both, but that's also to be pagan for them to do that, because you're separating, a power that God controls and saying that it's ran by its own power, which is stupid lunatic shit. Satan facilitates a test for me, just like I, work with aliens and they pretty much just fuck the world more incrementally the longer I get ignored. Not entirely, but fuck the people that need to be fucked. You understand? Meaning that they execute judgment, they help me. Executing justice is to justify the judgment. And that's to give people two options to listen to. Themselves, or the one who's coming in the name of the Lord, who's the king and the prince, and openly saying it has the eternal covenant in the air. Firstborn of God. Ephraim, which is me. With the paperwork to prove it from the church well preceding 2018. So, when it all comes down to it, we have Jewish law that evaluates the halakha. When we analyze the halakha, which are the procedures of executing and upholding Jewish law, that's the only thing that King David is said to come and restore the kingdom in, and it doesn't actually specify David. It specifies him after the kingdom's restored. But as you could understand, truthfully, what's the difference? So, you have the forces of a very vast number of people who are prepared to do what they want to do. And then we have intelligence that's been collecting intelligence on me for years on end now. We have Homeland Security that's been trying to do the same, but they're entirely divided. I mean, you have one division that sits there and says, yeah, obviously, your police are involved in suppression of terrorism and, terrorist suppression of evidence. You have criminal, you have RICO affiliations associated to Trump through the Aryan Brotherhood that are in between sides. You have extraterrestrials, man. You have 13 different alien nations, and you have 2 of them that are rebelling, right? And you have factions within each country. You have deceit spreading abroad. And the Illuminati, they're impartial. And intelligence is pretty much a big battle between Jews and Christians now. So, then, of course, in all of it, we have Abimelech, or Amalek, right? Amalek is a force that causes, the people to not believe in God. So, what would you do? I would like your answer. I would like your opinion. I would like to open up a discussion of this. I would like you guys to start contributing, because when I say that, it's God's intention through me to reassure people and bring people back to awareness that it's a grace to live, He wants me to charge people money for protection, and just like they would pay their preachers, because their preachers and their priests, 1, can't actually actualize on anything because they're not given the tools. 2, if they try to, they're just leading people down the drain, right? Because 3, they ignored me. And 4, they literally just say, most of them. Well, Rabbi, for instance, he said, when I asked him if we could organize a Jewish court to hear the halakha and review a legal case formally on establishing the identity of Mashiach, the roles and the responsibilities with evidence, he said, well, we just don't have the time for that right now. What? This is bullshit. So my friends in Jerusalem, it's just the way it is. Mashiach ben Yosef and David are not 2 separate entities, guys. All right? 2 separate phases of life. That's understood for sure. Still the same person, guys. And you know who they're represented by? Mashiach ben Ephraim. You know why? Because it says so. And guess who Mashiach ben Ephraim is? And Ben means son of. So, the anointed son of Joseph and the anointed son of David, right? This is in the parable of the 2 sticks. You have in one hand, you have the stick of Joseph, and I think all of Israel. And then in the other hand, you have, and it's held in the hand of Ephraim. So then the stick of Joseph is held in the hand of Ephraim. And then it's joined to the stick of Judah. And in one hand, the hand of the Lord, they are joined, right? So you have Joseph and you have Judah in one, Joseph and Judah in one hand. The only hand there is the Lord's and Ephraim's. You get into the heirship and you wonder, what is this heir thing? And it says in Isaiah 53, because you've gone through all this bullshit, you get to take a portion of the mighty. Well, do you know what that portion is? That portion is this creation, universe. Just the way it is, and it's fantastic. So, you guys think of the universe as this big, massive, massive thing that cannot be explored. I say it's smaller than my foot in the world that I came from. Where I did this before, and where I awaken to once I go. And maybe right now I'm just dead, going through this process of revival. Maybe this is my hell. Or maybe I was like so good in my past life that I had to like come down and just justify murdering the shit out of people without like discretion. Well, I mean, with discretion, but because I was too kind. So see, that's the difference between a king that God anoints and our experiences and our responsibilities in the Davidic families and other people who try to pretend that they lived our experiences and try to pretend that they know more than us. We have an obligation to God, and we have a love for God, and He has a very devout and very strong, nothing stronger, observation of us and connection with us, no matter what anybody tries. So we're held accountable to Him, and that dictates our futures, right? It's more than that. Like, it's more than just feeling obligated. It's just like hardwired in, right? Like, for instance, where in Jewish Talmud it teaches that, Mashiach doesn't have to be in the military. Like, he's naturally within him, he's born, with those strategic, capabilities and knowing what to do, when to do it, even by accident. And that's how it is. In today's world where we get into psychological operations, we have a number of, very, very, very pressuring outside stimuli. And a lot of those operations have been conveyed to me in the past, right? The people that develop them have fully disclosed them, and they're often used to slow me down and keep me precluded and busy, and it's useless. I mean, because everything just works out in the end, and that's the funny part. You have people that steal my seed, which involves a paradox that links back to Eden and the serpent that beguiles Eve to give Adam, which is linked to Obadiah, where if you take my name in Hebrew, one iteration thereof at least, comes back to say the grape of blood. It's the blood of the grape. And I'll tell you, that night that this paradox happened, was one I was terrified in. Wow, it was midnight. And there was a black beam that shot out the top of our fucking house. And then I was trying to go to Kansas City because I was terrified. This huge, half invisible, but very visible, serpent shot out of the wall after this happened. I was terrified. So, in Jeremiah 57, Israel will fall, and they will say that Nebuchadnezzar beguiled them. This is your wake-up call. This is why it says in Isaiah 55, come to me and pay me money. In person. Come to me and hear me. Listen to me, and then you may live. You don't want to listen to anybody else, because there's a lot of people right now that try to deceive, impersonate, and do a bunch of bullshit. So, it's really a judgment of whether or not you're going to observe your teachings. That's all. Hope everything's well. I have a couple videos that I'm going to be posting, and the website's going to be up soon. Always donate or contribute towards saving a life, man. And if you don't expect anybody to save you then. It's whatever. I think I'm about the only person on the fucking planet, well, I know I am, that can say pay me for your life and for it to be justified. Yalla. Peace. Way down we go. So way down we go. Way down we go. Whoa, you let your feet run wild. Time is coming. Hey guys, it's Chase. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Yeah, but for the folk who, my heart, do you dare to look around?